I often wonder if someone could invent a time machine for me to go back and revisit those times when I listened to an artist for the first time. The good news is on this occasion is that I don't need that, because for the first time this week I have listened to a Carly Simon album. I have started with her 1972 release, No Secrets. And this is part of something that I'm going to try and start doing in my listening, to go and listen to things that I haven't listened to before, and the things I haven't listened to before in my collection. I've got a vinyl pile behind me of stuff that I haven't heard, and for the last few months I've kind of gone, no, I don't want to really listen to any of that stuff because I'm focused on a number of artists at the moment. I don't want to pollute that mix and add things to it. But you know what? Another part of my brain went, if I don't start now, or I don't start in the next few months, A, that's only time lost, and B, I'm never going to get round to it. And there are albums like this in my collection that I have bought a number of years ago that I am never going to get to enjoy just because I'm a bit worried about going down a bit of a rabbit hole. I might not go down a bit of a rabbit hole here, but this is me out of my comfort zone a little bit, because when I talk about artists on this channel, I generally like to research them or know a lot about them or have other albums in my head that I can perhaps compare something to. So this is a complete, perhaps genie in a bottle waiting to happen, right? That I've listened to this one album and now I'm going to go down the whole rabbit hole of Carly Simon's whole discography. So I'm not going to say the script is flipped because I don't mean to patronise you, the viewer. But on this occasion, I will say certainly for me that I am not an expert. I am somebody listening to this album for the first time through that lens, and you can be the expert. So that's going to be quite an interesting thing for us to do today. So let's tell my story about the album. Sometimes in this portion of the video, I will talk about the general story of this album, what happened with the album. This time, I am going to tell my story of the album, because for this, I haven't consulted Wikipedia, I haven't consulted any literary articles. I have just got the album out, looked at the front cover, the back cover, the inner sleeve, and constructed my view from there. We have very much gone back to the pre-internet age, and I love that for an album like this. There are some albums by my favourite artists that I love researching them on the net, and there are bits of info that would have taken me years to collate. But no, here we are going just for the, this is my first Carly Simon album, what did I think of it? Well, let's talk about where I picked this up. So this is Carly Simon's No Secrets from 1972. I picked this up in a charity shop some years ago. Again, I could go and look at the date, but I'm confident it was 4 or 5 years ago. Now, Carly Simon, why did I buy Carly Simon? Do you know what? I genuinely don't know. A kind of story that I've made up for myself, possibly, is that I don't think I've, in my brain that tries to catalogue what I've seen in a charity shop before, I don't think I've seen a Carly Simon album in a charity shop prior to this. And I don't think I've seen one afterwards. So maybe it was me going, this is something a little bit different. Let's go and find it. I had possibly had interactions with Carly Simon before this, or maybe a little bit afterwards. The most obvious one, for me being a James Bond fan, is with the song, the Bond theme to this film, The Spy Who Loved Me. It just happens to be Roger Moore's best Bond film, I think. And Roger Moore just happens to be my favourite Bond. So her song, Nobody Does It Better, is a brilliant tribute to the best James Bond there ever was, I think, Roger Moore. So that was probably my first serious interaction with Carly Simon. We're now going to have something completely left field, because actually this is my first proper interaction with Carly Simon. This is going to be totally left field. And when we get to the end of this video, you're going to go, I don't think there's any other Carly Simon listener who's going to interact with her like this. Are you ready? My first interaction with Carly Simon was this. I never expected to hold up Piglet's big movie. Now, I appreciate the target audience isn't my age, but I watched this as a young child, and maybe somewhere in the back of my head, because Carly Simon does the soundtrack for this. And you know what? I have rewatched this in the last few years, and it's not one of the best Winnie the Pooh adventures, but I have to say possibly I'm not the target audience for that anymore. Can't believe I'm talking about Winnie the Pooh, but it's contextual. It's all part of the story. But what I have been listening to recently is a couple of the songs from this soundtrack. The more I look inside with a few good friends, they've got a real good innocent quality to it. And even just outside of that film, looking at those songs individually, they are really nice, cosy songs. And they actually have more of a connection to this album than I realised before playing it. So I think that going and listening to a couple of the songs from this film again has probably been the catalyst, as well as me going, I need to listen to an album that's different to whatever I'm listening to at the moment. Those two ideas together were probably the catalyst for me going to listen to this album. Another interaction I've had with Carly Simon, this will be the last one, is a very best of greatest hits CD compilation. Now, I might have bought this before the No Secrets, I don't really know. I would suspect I bought this after hearing Nobody Does It Better, because this is the very best of, subtitled Nobody Does It Better. And I have a rather strange relationship with this compilation as well, because I've sort of half heard it. The first 4 songs very much resonate with me. You're So Vain. Not to be an expert, I'm guessing that's one of Carly Simon's best known songs. Nobody Does It Better, of course. And then you've got Why, which I think was on a film soundtrack, as well as Coming Around Again. And Carly Simon, again, has been there once again, because I watched Heartburn with Meryl Streep and Jack Nicholson earlier on this year at some point. And when the film come on, I thought, I know this song. I know this song. I never expected Coming Around Again to be on a film soundtrack. But it is. It's on Heartburn. So that was another thing. The music gods have been telling me, come on, you've got that Carly Simon album in your collection. Go and listen to it. But to be honest, the majority of the stuff from this, I'm not all that familiar with. Ironically enough, there are another 2 songs on this which are from the No Secrets album. The Right Thing to Do and We Have No Secrets. And those are tracks 5 and 6. So that just shows how it does need a studio album to maybe kick it into you rather than just listening to a greatest hits. And I purposely haven't researched this because, not that I don't want to go down a Carly Simon rabbit hole, but I have got into this predicament before of listening to everything that I've bought, maybe listening to it once or twice and then putting it away. And then what you end up with is kind of listening to nothing of everything rather than something of something, if that makes any sense. Focusing on a couple of albums, but really getting to know them, rather than just trying to listen for the sake of it. And I think in this hobby of physical music collecting, which I think it was the latter, the kind of something of something idea, particularly in the last 12 months, has really resonated with me. And if after this review, you go, and you are the Carly Simon expert here, that's not me. I've heard 1 or 2 albums mentioned in other videos. Is Baby Cakes possibly one that I've heard somebody mention? That might be completely wrong, but I'm not going to go and check, so you can fact check me down in the comments. That's one I've heard that's meant to be good. But if you mention an album down in the comments, if I see it out in the wild, I might go, one of my viewers recommended that. Let's pick it up. And after this, I will definitely say I am ready to listen to another Carly Simon album. Whatever time that might be. Next week, next month, in a year's time. I'm not really sure. Anyway, this album is on the Elektra Records label. And that took me back to Bread, because that's the only artist that I can think that I've got any albums of that are on that label. It's a really nice record label. And I've got the sound of Bread on the Elektra label. And what's brilliant here as well, especially from a first-timer's point of view, you've got the songs on the back of the cover, and then the inner sleeve is mega handy because you've got one side with the songs and who plays on them, and who wrote them, etc., etc. Who wrote them is on the other side, actually. And then on the other side, you have all the lyrics and who wrote them. This is perfect for a kind of pre-internet age album. And my first impressions as a kind of overall, after my first listen, I was ready to listen to this again straight away because I thought, oh, this is interesting. There's a variety of different styles here. I really enjoyed my first listen, but I waited till the following day because of the kind of, good things come to those who wait kind of idea. And looking through these songs on my first listen, because I had no background, it was, this is nice to see that Carly Simon writes pretty much all of her own stuff. There's a few co-write supports here and there, but this is very much a Carly Simon singer-songwriter album. So the songs on this album, on side 1, you have The Right Thing to Do, The Carter Family, You're So Vain, His Friends Are More Than Fond of Robin. What a title that is. And We Have No Secrets, which acts as kind of the half-title track, if you will. And then on side 2, you have Embrace Me, You Child, Waited So Long, It Was So Easy, Night Owl, and then When You Close Your Eyes to finish the album off. So let's talk about what I thought of the individual songs, shall we, on No Secrets. I've given this 5 listens, so I've given my ears plenty of time to get used to this, and you know what? It is actually nice not to have something on CD for this, because the inner sleeve, the vinyl itself, not having a remastered booklet, which is great for probably what I would look to have on a second round of listens for this album, for instance. But on a first listen, it is nice just to not be overwhelmed by information. So having who played on the songs and the lyrics are perfect. Let's get into the songs. The Right Thing to Do opens this, and I mentioned earlier that is the 5th song on this very best of set. So perhaps some part of my brain already knew this, and I think that The Right Thing to Do is a good start to the album. It's got a quietly understated earworm quality to it, I think, and there's a lovely flow to this track. And not knowing what to expect from this album at all, only having You're So Vain from this album, and then Nobody Does It Better, Why, Coming Around Again, all from different eras of Carly Simon, I didn't totally know what to expect, but this first song, I think, falls into or floats rather, into the easy listening adult contemporary realm, with a little bit of that kind of jazzy, move your shoulders feel. It is just a little bit understated, this song, but it is one I like. The Carter Family is the second one, and listening to this on the first time round, I thought this was a bit of an oddball because it's got a bit of a country feel to it, a storytelling kind of aspect to it. But listening to this album more and more, I have changed my opinion on this. This has very much turned to me into a tender story-based song, and it has a typical country quality to it with thoughtful lyrics. And I think because, well, the reason that this isn't an oddball so much now after several listens is this, for the first time, contributes to a kind of cosy, homely feel to the album, which I'll touch on more so as we go through these songs. You're So Vain comes next, which rips up that cosy feeling altogether. Now, this is just, for want of a better phrase, this is an absolute tune. I did know this one before coming in, but this one just rips it up. That cosy feeling that you've kind of got on The Right Thing to Do as well. But this just breaks the script when you listen to this on the album. It's fascinating to hear a song you've heard before in isolation in a collection of songs in the art form of the album. Now, I know that Mick Jagger is on backing vocals for this. Now, I don't know too much, but I swear I've heard in the past that this is a song about Mick Jagger. I mean, the irony of that. Now, I think that this could have maybe been an even better Bond theme than Nobody Does It Better, but, the lyrics, a little bit negative towards Bond or whoever the song's about, but I think they'd be apt, particularly the When You're Not, You're With Some Underworld Spy or the Wife of a Close Friend. That sounds very, very Bondian. His Friends Are More Than Fond of Robin. Now, when I saw the track title here, that put me in straight away. It was more than enough, that title alone, just to pique my interest. His Friends Are More Than Fond of Robin. What a strange track in terms of its name. And this is a really interesting curiosity. I could call it an oddity, but it's a really interesting curiosity. There's a cosy feeling back here again, and there's a really nice higher pitch register on the chorus that's here. And again, just a really nice cosy track. It's nice that these songs are good individually, but I'm not sure hold up's probably not the word. They are best enjoyed within the confines of this album is probably the best thing to say here. We then have We Have No Secrets to close off side 1, which I liked pretty much straight away. It is back a little bit to that country feel with more of its themes than its sound, those themes of deceit, betrayal, and I just have to turn this one up. It's a great tune, and subconsciously, I think maybe on my third listen, I went, I've got to go to the record player, get up from my seat and turn this one up because it is one that I really, really like. So in terms of the first half of the album, every track is solid here. Although all of them, bar You're So Vain, share somewhat similar qualities, every song's got something a little bit unique to look forward to. I think you've got 3 anthem tracks, if you will, if you want to call them that. The Right Thing to Do, You're So Vain, and We Have No Secrets. But then intertwined between them, you have two cosy, really sort of interesting story songs with the Carter family and his friends are more than fond of Robin. That's right, I've got that right. Too many words to remember. Embrace Me You Child opens up side 2, and fortunately, the greatness doesn't stop there, because this one is just full of power. It's got a bit of a spiritual quality to it. It's got a bit of that cosy atmosphere still, and I think that more so here, a little bit like the Carter family, is because it has nostalgia to it. And it is at this point of the album that I kind of twig and start to think and make connections. See, this was meant to be a casual listen, but I can't help myself. Start to make connections towards the themes of this album. If there is a genuine theme running through this album, you know what, this is my interpretation, so I'm just going to go for it and say there is. This album seems to shoot back and forth from childhood, so you've got the Carter family, Embrace Me You Child, It Was So Easy that comes a little bit later. You've got adolescence on here as well. Maybe You're So Vain possibly does fall into that a little bit. Night Owl definitely, Waited So Long. And then you've got songs as well that are maybe about a relationship and marriage going wrong, which I guess does fit more into the You're So Vain, We Have No Secrets, that loss of innocence. So it's a really interesting blend of songs, and they certainly don't work together thematically as a chronological thing. They do go back and forth, but that almost gives the album some charm. And talking about charm, Waited So Long, the next track, is so tongue-in-cheek. I mean, I feel like so far maybe You're So Vain has taken away that innocence, but these lyrics have been quite... Is subliminal the word? Never was very good at English. Kind of reading between the lines lyrics. This one is very much tongue-in-cheek, very much explicit, and goes away from the innocence so far in this album. It's almost a little bit naughty, a little bit forbidden for this 1970s time, particularly the backing vocal, She Ain't No Virgin. But in terms of the music, it's impossible not to tap your beat along. Your beat? So that's me reading notes and not speaking properly to the camera. It's impossible not to tap your foot along to the beat here, I think, and it is a beat that has a really nice change in the midsection of this song. It kind of goes to a bit of a cooler tempo in the midsection of the song and then goes back to the normal tempo. I guess I put this in kind of like a country rock mid-tempo sort of vibe here. It Was So Easy, I talked a little bit about that being another nice nostalgic number, and I think that the lyrics of this one we can all relate to in some way or the other. I mean, ironically, I have got my link to the Piglet movie here, because you've got the lyric on here of, I remember when we took such care to step never on the cracks, not only in the squares, or else we'd be abducted by the bears. And there's that kind of innocence there that does connect to that Piglet big movie soundtrack a little bit, particularly with A Few Good Friends and that sort of more nostalgic, childlike vibe. And His Friends Are More Than Fond of Robin, I've just thought, is that a song about Christopher Robin? Nonsense. But it's nice to dream, isn't it? It's nice to think. This, I think, could have easily been a John Denver song. Might be sacrilege to some, me saying that, I don't know. But it's alright to like Carly Simon and John Denver. I was going to mention this earlier, but I felt it was a little bit too early in the review to say this. I think that It Was So Easy and The Carter Family could both have been John Denver songs. And I think that this album shares more than a few parallels to Back Home Again, the John Denver album from 74. Is it that homely feel? I'm not 100% sure, but there is a feeling for me, more of a feeling than something I can really talk about and describe. But there is a bit of a connection in my brain between those two albums. Let me know what you think if you are indeed a Carly Simon and John Denver hybrid like myself. We then go to Night Owl, which is the only cover on the album, I believe. Everything else is written by Carly Simon or co-written. This is written by James Taylor. I haven't heard the original, so I don't know what that's like, but this is an absolute riot. Remember when I said that You're So Vain rips up the script on side one? Yeah, that does it again here. And this is totally different to anything else. This is a rocking number. I feel this is almost a bit of a precursor to disco. What a groove that's in this one. This is absolutely awesome. Surprised it's not on the best of, by the way. If this is to be considered to be a deep cut, this is a great deep cut. The only bit of research I did for this video, because I was really interested, when I was reading through all the people that were on this, background vocals, Bonnie Bramlett, Doris Troy. No disrespect, I'm not too bothered about those two names. But at the end, Paul and Linda. Is that Paul and Linda? I had to know. And it absolutely is. It's the McCartneys. So, of course, when I figured that out, I thought, is there a Wings element to this? Is there a Wings link, maybe? I'm kind of, in some little area of my brain, I'm going, yeah, there could be a Wings element to this. Just rooted in a little part of my brain. But Night Owl, what a song that is. And then the album closes with When You Close Your Eyes, which is a nice, gentle way to end the album. But I have to be honest, I think anything that comes after Night Owl is going to be difficult to compete with. So in terms of side 2, there is no let up on this side. More solid tracks. Again, a few nostalgic numbers. There's probably actually more of those here. Embrace Me You Child. Waited So Long, to an extent, that more adolescent level. It Was So Easy. You can even say Night Owl is a bit of a nostalgic number. But equally, it does go totally against the grain. A little bit like You're So Vain did on the first side of the album. Well, I'm going to give you a quick punchline as to what I think as a summary. This is a no-filler album. All killer, no filler, if you will. It's a nice, compact album. 5 songs aside. I think it's about 35, 36 minutes, so there's no filler at all. It is a perfect length, and I've had a great time listening to this. I think there's such a range of styles. Lots to look forward to on the album. Not a bad song. But for me, personally, it is an album that has a homely feel to it, a cosy feel to it, but also a bit of a groovy feel as well. It's got some attitude. You've got You're So Vain, maybe We Have No Secrets as well, and Night Owl. So it doesn't feel overbearingly cosy, but it does have a really nice number of themes running through it. So those are my thoughts on No Secrets by Carly Simon. Remember, if you've listened to more of Carly Simon's music, then please do feel free to give me one album recommendation below. If you want to give me more, then do. But I don't want to start going down the rabbit hole of, right, when you're listening to Carly Simon, I don't want an AI response of, this is a good place to go. Then go here, 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 here. And if you want to hear something from the later albums, go here, here, and here. I've just listened to one album. I might move on to a different artist before I listen to any other Carly Simon. Because I don't want to buy up all of Carly Simon's collection and then have more to listen to. That kind of adds to the problem. But you know what? I'm open to more Carly Simon after this. So this is a really nice time capsule to have. This is my first Carly Simon album. And this is something that I haven't planned. So let's do it in real time. Let's pick some favourite songs from this. You're So Vain, definitely. We Have No Secrets. Night Owl are the obvious picks. The ones underneath, His Friends Are More Than Fond of Robin. Embrace Me You Child. I mean, I could pick everything. So I think 5 out of 10 is more than enough to pick. And I think, you know, the reason that because I can pick so many songs from this album as standouts, it just shows that this album has got so much quality to it. So if you are somebody who maybe is in my shoes, I don't know, has bought No Secrets by Carly Simon or any Carly Simon album, well, you know what, any album that you've kind of had a bit of a hunch to go and listen to for the first time, an album that you haven't listened to for years and want to try and rediscover, an album, crucially, that you might have heard first time round and look at these songs, The Right Thing to Do, The Carter Family, no, can't remember them. Just go and give it a listen, and it might just develop into something a little bit different, and something that you might well enjoy. I've certainly enjoyed this. I might want to pick this up on CD, but only if I'm out in the wild. That's Carly Simon, my first Carly Simon video on this channel. Thank you very much for your company. Do leave a like if you enjoyed it. It's the quickest way to tell YouTube that you enjoyed this and somebody else did too. As I said earlier, do leave a comment down below. And if you would like to, then please do subscribe for regular videos on the channel. It's unbelievable. When I looked at my analytics a couple of days ago, there's only 12% of my viewers that have subscribed to the channel. Again, like clicking the like button, you only have to click one button, but it is massively important to me. We are heading towards 1,000 subscribers on the channel, so every one of you that hits that subscribe button really helps towards pursuing that goal. Anyway, I'm not going to keep you any longer. Have a great rest of your day, whether that is with Carly Simon's music or whatever you are spending the rest of your day doing. Thank you very much for joining me for this review of my first Carly Simon album. I hope to do more of these in the future, but not force it. Just go when I do feel like listening to an album for the first time, go into it and then having an experience like I have with this. Carly Simon, No Secrets. What an experience this has been. I'll see you all for the next one. Goodbye for now.